A master copy is a reproduction of an original piece of artwork. The benefit from creating master copies is to learn specific techniques and ways of seeing from artists living or deceased who you admire and wish to emulate. Now, like me, you probably are thinking that you have a particular style that is personal to you, and this is a powerful attribute of any artist. By copying a piece of artwork you respect and admire, you are not tarnishing your own unique style, but rather expanding your skill set and taking part in an ongoing tradition that has been taking place for centuries. I'm going to show you how you can learn from the masters in your own home or studio space. In this episode, I'll be working with charcoal pencils and white chalk on gray toned paper. I recommend using a range of charcoal pencils from soft, medium, and hard, which all have slightly different feel and darkness capabilities. Make sure that you keep your pencils very sharp by using a knife and some sandpaper. You will also need a white chalk pencil and a variety of blending tools, including paper stumps, cotton swabs, brushes, and even paper towels. As you are drawing, you will get a better sense of what each of these tools will do to the charcoal and the paper, and I recommend experimenting with all of them to develop your own preferences. Choose an artwork that you admire and find a high-resolution image of it online. Save it to your tablet, laptop, or even your iPhone to have a reliable digital reference that you can use while you're drawing. Order a print in the size you would like to use for your drawing at a nearby office supply store. You will use this print to start your master copy. To achieve a good sense of light and dark, I recommend working from black and white renditions of the artwork that you are studying, which will remove the nuance of color. The more you draw in black and white, the more you will improve your way of assessing or seeing value. Once you have your print ready, you will need to create your transfer. Think of the first layer as the foundation for the entire drawing. There are a few ways you can do this, including hand drawing using your sight and measuring skills from the reference yourself, which will take time. For the sake of this exercise, I recommend making a basic transfer using a table, light projector, or another means of producing a base underline. Remember, you're making a master copy, so it's not cheating to do this. The point of the exercise is to learn good technique while focusing on value. If you only want to learn how to draw from the ground up without using any of these methods, I would recommend learning how to draw from life, which I'll be happy to show you in another video up the road. For now, let's keep things simple. First, secure your print to a drawing table and apply a sheet of tracing paper. Next, turn on your light table. If you don't have one, there are ways to create a makeshift light table to allow the light to permeate through the layers of the paper. Concentrate first on the outline of the form that you are drawing, or what artists call the exterior contour. Next, start mapping out the shapes on the inside, starting where the shadow separates from the light. I would recommend only focusing on the bigger shapes and not going crazy with the details. I see a lot of beginner artists making this mistake of capturing way too much detail in the beginning when it really isn't necessary, as you will discover all of those smaller shapes and details during the actual drawing process. For now, try to keep things simple. Next, flip your tracing paper over and run the side of your pencil on the back side, almost like you were shading. Make sure to add a layer of graphite or charcoal all over the lines that you have traced. Flip the tracing paper back around and place it directly over your drawing paper in the position that you want it to appear. Firmly, but not too hard, press the pencil into the tracing paper and go over all of the lines you have previously traced. When you gently lift up the tracing paper, you should see where your marks have come through, kind of like magic. Once you have your transfer completed, you're ready to draw. While carefully analyzing your reference, go back through and redraw your outline or contour lines. Instead of just tracing the lines that are already there, use them as a guide to inform your drawing. You might find that you wish to add or alter things a bit to be closer to the reference. Pay attention to things like the natural flow of the anatomy or where the shadow separates from the light, and try to draw in straight angular lines, keeping your pencil nice and loose. When I start shading or adding the values between dark and light, I go after the very darkest values first. I layer my charcoal until I have achieved the darkest value that the tool can possibly create. You can use a paper stump or a Q-tip to help press the charcoal into the paper to build those dark values in layers. Next, use a value range to help you identify the darker midtones all the way to the lighter tones of the actual paper, and everything in between. It is beneficial to concentrate on the subtle changes of value, which will inform your sense of space, depth, luminosity, and shadow. Experiment with building values in layers by going over areas multiple times while carefully blending with your tools until the desired value is achieved. Your tools and brushes will help you achieve the most accurate values. Take your time with this and make sure you are looking back at your reference often to challenge yourself to be as accurate as possible. This will only make you better at shading or rendering from observation. Once all of your dark and midtones are present, carefully scrutinize your drawing and look back and forth between your reference and your drawing to make sure you have captured as much information or detail as possible. Now you are ready to add your lightest values and your highlights. Since I am using charcoal, I will be using white chalk to carefully build the lighter tones. Think about how you built up your darkest darks, but in reverse. The more chalk you use, the brighter the value you can create. Be careful not to mix the chalk with the charcoal as best you can. If they start to blend into one another, you might get some murky and hazy off values that you definitely don't want in your final drawing. Make sure you are carefully analyzing your reference to make sure you are as accurate to its true value as possible. And remember, like anything else, with practice, you will continue to get better and better. So now once you have drawn and blended your heart out, make sure to look over the reference in comparison to your drawing to make sure you've captured any last missing detail. Be proud of your work and remember that you will get better with practice. If you enjoy figurative or realistic looking art, making master copies is an excellent way to train your eye and your hand. Once you've made one, make two, and so on and so on. Lately, I enjoy making this a regular exercise between sessions in my own studio practice, just to continue to hone my skills and make these types of videos for you. I hope you've learned something valuable from watching, and I would love to hear about your experience making master copies in the comments. If you like content like this, I'm going to continue to make episodes that show how to develop your skills and become an even better artist. See you in the next one.